Good day, my people. How's it going? I hope everybody out there is doing well, man. I really do. I really hope you guys are doing well. My copper-colored tribe, my Indigenous Americans, North and South, and all the surrounding islands. And to all of our people waking up to this Indigenous truth, this Yisrael truth, this truth of Israel. Yeah, man. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a great day where I'm at. Got the sun out, it's looking nice. Go out there and charge up, cover up as much as you can. Get your energy right. I got some information to really hit y'all over the head with, fam, as you see. So, I like to start this off by telling everybody, this is not for the weak. This is not for the sensitive. If you are the sensitive type, this video right here is not for you. This is a new series. This is part 1 of this new series. We're going to be dealing with a very heated topic, a very ancient topic, a very overlooked topic. This is basically for a correction. I always seem to see people refer to others by a certain name. And I just want to address this certain name to get it clear. And we're going to identify this certain name. We're going to be dealing with the name of Canaan. We're going to be talking about what Canaan really is, who Canaan really is, and the tribe of Canaan. So we can stop falsely accusing our brothers and sisters of being Canaanites. Alright? This is what this is about. So this is part 1 of this series. We don't have a lot of time, so we got a lot to get into. I just want to give you guys a good chance to get away. if you're very sensitive to the subject, we're going in, okay? We're going to open up with 6 scriptures, 6 verses. And if you got your book on you, your good book, go ahead and keep up. Alright, you can follow along. I'll announce them as we go. We're going to jump straight into it and get it all across, okay? So, without further ado, let's do it. We're going to be jumping over into the Old Testament. My bad. We don't deal with the New. But, we're going to be dealing with the Old Testament. We're going to be in the book of Exodus, chapter 11, verses 7. Alright. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 7. And he reads, "But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Most High does put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Most High doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." So there is a difference between these Egyptians and Israel. Yisrael, alright? That was Exodus 11, verse 7. We're going to go into another one. And as we read these, I want you guys to pay attention into the context on how dog is being used. Alright? We don't have a lot of time, so just keep a mental note on the emphasis, the way dog is being used. Okay? This is Judges chapter 7, verse 5. "So he brought down the people onto the water, and the Most High said unto Gideon, Everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink." So he brought down the people unto the water. And the Most High said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. Alright, we're going to go ahead into the next one. This is 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 11. You can read along. Him that dieth of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat, for the Most High has spoken it. Him that dieth of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat, for the Most High has spoken it. Alright, we're going to the next one. And this is 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 19. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, thus says the Most High, hast thou killed and also taken possession? And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, thus say the Most High, in the place where the dogs licked the blood of Naboth shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine. Alright, so I just want you guys to keep in mind the context of the way dog is being used as we read. Okay? This is Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 3. And I will punish them with 4 kinds of death, says the Most High, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the wild beasts of the earth, and the birds of the sky to devour and destroy. Alright? So that was that one. This is the last one. This is in 2 Kings chapter 8, verses 13. And Hazael said, but what is thy servant, a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elijah answered, the Most High has showed me that thou shalt be king over Syria. And Hazael said, but what is thy servant, a dog, that he shall do this great thing? And Elisha answered, the Most High has showed me that thou shalt be a king over Syria. Alright, so we just read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 scriptures dealing with the emphasis on dog, right? Now I want you guys to keep in mind that we're talking about dog and how it was used in those scriptures that we just read, okay? Now keep this in mind, fam. We're going to get right into it, alright? We're not going to play no games. We got no time to waste. But before we do, let's hit everybody up with the fair use, right? Fair use. You know what it is, right? Fair use all day. We don't like to get anything twisted, you know what I'm saying? Fair use. This infringement of copyright is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news, reporting, teaching, and parody. Alright? We got that out the way. So, follow me, fam. We're going to rock over here to this video. You guys know how I do. I'm going to turn my volume up real quick. Alright, I want you guys to hear it, so if it's too loud, just turn it down on your end. Alright, one more time. We know how these people get. So yeah, it's just only going to be a little bit. Rock with me. Let's go.
In the rolling hills just north of Los Angeles. Caesar!
How are
I wanted you to meet my dog.
That's
This
Mr.
is
Parker,
Parker.
Okay.
I brought my new puppy to meet Caesar Milan. Can I take off the leash?
Not yet. Until you got here. There you go.
She'll run.
Now you can take the leash off.
Yeah. You own all of this?
43 acres. I'm buying America a piece at a time.
Caesar Milan is able to buy up big chunks of real estate because his TV show is such a big hit.
I rehabilitate dogs. I train people. I am the dog whisperer.
Alright. That's all we wanted. But I want you guys to pay attention, alright, to this last bit. I'm going to play it back a few more times. I want you to basically let it sit in your head, okay? Now let's go.
Acres. I'm buying America a piece at a time.
Caesar Milan is able to buy up big chunks of real estate because his TV show is such a big hit.
I rehabilitate dogs. I train people. I am the dog whisperer.
Show is such a big hit.
I rehabilitate dogs. I train people. I
Real estate because his TV show is such a big hit.
I rehabilitate dogs. I train people.
43 acres. I'm buying America a piece at a time.
Caesar Milan is able to buy up big chunks of real estate because his TV show is such a big hit.
I rehabilitate dogs. I train people. I am the dog whisperer.
Alright, fam. That's all we're going to be using for that bit. Alright? So, I want you guys to keep in mind, he says that he rehabilitates dogs and that he trains people. He rehabilitates dogs and he trains people. Okay? So I want to break that down. I'm interested in what he means by that. Alright? Before I do, I want to get the mood right. So I'm going to turn down this volume and we're gonna get some music going. If that's alright with y'all. We'll go right here. Hit it with the band. So we heard that he rehabilitates and he trains people. So let's see what he means, right? It's the etymology on train. It reads, to discipline, to teach, bring a desired state by means of instruction, draw out and manipulate in order to bring to a desired form, specifically of growth of branches, vines, etc. Point or aim. Fit oneself for a performance by a regiment or exercise. To travel by railway. Okay? That was trained for the verb. This is trained now. A drawing out delay. Trailing part of a skirt, gown, or cloak. Also, retune procession. Tracks, path, trail of a robe or gown. Active from trainer to pull. Drag, draw. To pull. Back formation from tractus, past particle of Latin trahere, which means to pull, to draw. Alright? We want to focus on to discipline, to teach, right? To bring to a desired state by means of instruction. To bring to a desired state by means of instruction. So he trains people. Okay? He brings a desired state by means of his instructions to people. Right? And he says that he rehabilitates the dog. Rehabilitate. To bring back to a former condition after decay or damage. Back formation from rehabilitation, and in part from medieval Latin rehabilitatus, right? Past particle of rehabiliter, meaning to restore one's reputation or character in the eyes of others. To restore one's reputation or character in the eyes of others. So he's restoring the dog's reputation or character in the eyes of others. And he's training people to bring a desired state by means of instruction. So he's restoring the dog's reputation. Alright, that was pretty interesting to me. I had to just wonder what this all meant. So I took it further. And upon taking it further, I got to a link I'm going to share with you guys. And it was in the National Geographic. And it was about a dog and human genomes evolved together. It says evolution shaped genes in humans and dogs that correspond to diet, behavior, and disease according to a new study. It says the bond between dogs and humans is ancient and enduring. Dogs snuggle up to us at night, gambol by our side during daily walks, and flop adoringly at our feet when we crash on our couches. But new research shows that the connection runs deeper than you might think. It is embedded in our genes. It is embedded in someone's genes. It says right here that the bond between dogs and humans is an ancient and enduring one. Alright? I'm going to try to leave these links in the description box. I don't have a lot of time, so I won't go into depth into, all of them. But, yeah, I'll leave it here for you guys to look at, alright? So, rehabilitate. Alright? Let's look at some more. I found some more articles. Secret of connection between dogs and humans could be genetic. Scientists have found a handful of genes that they may be linked to the tendency for dogs to seek human help and contact. Alright? The secret of why dogs are men's best friend can be lurking in their genes, according to new research. Scientists say that they have found a handful of genes that appear to be linked to the tendency for dogs to seek human help and contact. Our aim is to try and understand the genetic underpinnings of domestication. What is it that has helped to turn the wolf, which is really not interested in humans to start off with, into this extremely sociable creature which is the dog? I want you guys to understand, the Most High created the wolf. The Most High developed and designed the wolf in its originality. And someone came along and manipulated the genes of the wolf to get what we now call the dog. Alright, so this report deals with the difference between the wolf and the dog, and what makes the dog depend and look to humans for help, whereas the wolf ignores or would even attack the human if it had to. Alright? So you guys can come over here and check this out, because there's a genetic linkage between humans and dogs and domestication. Here's another article. Puppy's response to speech could shed light on baby talk, suggests study. Baby talk and pet talk might have a common purpose in attempting to engage with a non-speaking listener, says researchers. Let me get some water real quick. Sip on this water with y'all one time. So yeah, I know many people out there have little puppies or had a puppy at one time, and age your puppy with this talk, little puppy baby talk, right? You talk to them a certain way, high pitched voice, all cute like, right, to get the attention and make the dog feel warm and welcome, right, to get it all open, right? Well, some people do this, I should say. Well, there are others, or even more, that talk to babies in the same kind of manner. And so this article is about the linkage between people who talk to puppies and babies in the same manner, with that high pitch, cute kind of voice, because they understand that there's a link to basically the non-speaking listeners. Okay? It says puppies prick up their ears to human cooing, but adult dogs are unmoved by it, according to a new study. Scientists have found that humans using a sing-song cadence similar to that used toward babies when talking to dogs, regardless of the age of the animal, but the tone only draws the attention of puppies. Older dogs show no preference over the normal human speech. The use of pet-directed speech is extremely widespread, but its functional value has barely been studied, says Nicholas Matavayan, lead author of the research from the University of Lyon at St. Editing. Alright. It says the research, he adds, could also shed light on human use of baby talk. Both might have a common purpose in attempting to engage with a listener that cannot speak. It says the researchers found that when talking to dogs, humans typically use higher pitched, slower tempo speech with a great degree of variation in pitch than when talking to each other. The effect was most pronounced when chatting to puppies, with participants increasing their pitch by 21% on average compared to normal speech. So they understand that there's a connection between the puppies listening and paying attention to, their owners talking to them with the high-pitched voice, and to the response that babies also give when you talk to them in the same manner. Alright? Because they're saying that they're both non-speaking listeners. But there's a deeper connection. I mean, we are talking about humans, having a genetic connection, right? A secret genetic connection of them being domesticated, right? That's what we've been dealing with. So we want to make sure we focus and we stay in mind that they're hinting at something, right? Remember, he said that Caesar, that is, said that he rehabilitates the dog, so he's trying to restore their reputation. All right. Now, that led me to this syndrome, right? That's out, called hypertrichosis. Hypertrichosis, right? Hypertrichosis is an abnormal amount of hair growth over the body. Extensive cases of hypertrichosis have informally been called werewolf syndrome because the appearance is similar to the mythical werewolf. Werewolf syndrome. Alright? Werewolf syndrome. Now I want you guys to keep that in mind. Okay? We're talking about connections of genomes, right? And on how dogs and humans evolve together. Certain humans. Alright, keep that in mind. Werewolf syndrome, right? And yeah, it led me to figure out more about this dude. So I went to him, right? And his name is Petrus Gonzalez, right? Petrus Gonzalez. And it says that he was referred to by Ulysses out as the man of the woods. He was born in 1537 in Tenerife, right? His life has been well chronicled as he became famous during his lifetime because of his condition with the hypertrichosis, right? Now, a little about his biography, right? He was he was also known to have hairy children, right? And they were not considered fully human in the eyes of their contemporaries, right? It says that Gonzalez eventually settled in Italy, right, with his wife, right? It says the last known record of him is from 1617, when he was listed among those who had attended his grandson's christening, right? It is believed that the marriage with Petrus Gonzalez, and Lady Catherine inspired the fairy tale The Beauty and the Beast. So they said The Beauty and the Beast is based off this guy and his wife, right? I think they got a movie with that coming out soon. So yeah, hypertrichosis, right? Hypertrichosis, also known as the werewolf syndrome, right? And we're talking about the secret connection between dogs and humans. Sorry about that, fam. It's my phone. Yeah, but we're talking about the secret connection between dogs and human beings being genetic, right? Certain humans, that is, as we see, right? And we came across this hypertrichosis, okay? So this Petrus Gonzalez, right, who is also known to be the Beauty and the Beast story, right, had this condition, which basically he was considered to be a werewolf. Alright, so I dug a little more into it, and came across this article, right? Cynocephalus, right? Cynocephalus says the dog-headed man, right? Most people have heard of werewolves, but few know of the ancient race of dog-headed men. They're known as the Cynocephaly, right? That's what it says, Cynocephaly. It says the Cenocephali was essentially a man with the head of a dog. They could understand language but had no ability to speak. That's crazy, because this is what this article right here was referring to. Right? It says baby talk and pet talk have a common purpose in attempting to engage with a non-speaking listener. So right here it says they could understand language but had no ability to speak. Though they are sometimes depicted in artwork as being civilized, they were by all reports savage beasts who lived to hunt and to kill. While this may sound like just another mythical creature, there are very good reasons to believe that the Cenocephali may have actually existed. Above all of them, these dog-headed men were described in reports by famous explorers such as Christopher Columbus and Marco Polo. So supposedly Christopher Columbus and Marco Polo saw these Cenocephalis, dog-headed men. Alright? Yeah, as we were talking about, they had no ability to speak, and they were often, or not often, but they were saw by Christopher Columbus and Marco Polo. It made me want to look into it some more. So I looked at the Canaan, right, in Hebrew. And as we come to Canaan in Hebrew, I noticed that it says lowland, right? Canaan equals lowland. It also says that it's the fourth son of Ham, right? The progenitor of the Phoenicians, right? And it says, in the various nations who peopled the sea coast of Palestine, okay? And then it says, the land west of Jordan, peopled by the descendants of Canaan, and subsequently conquered by the Israelites under Joshua, right? And it says merchant and trader. And it says humiliated. He's the son of Ham. And yeah, merchant and traffic, right? Keep these two in mind. We're gonna come back to it. Alright? We're gonna come back to these two. So keep merchant and traffic in mind with Canaan. Alright? Merchant and traffic. Keep these two in mind. But I want to look up some more on this. So I went to the etymology of Canaan. Right? I went to the etymology of Canaan. And I got Caleb, right? Which is a masculine proper name in the Bible. One of the 12 men sent by Moses to reconnoitre Canaan, right? Whatever that word is. Sorry, I didn't get that right. But yeah, it was used to identify Canaan. I'm assuming, right? From the Hebrew Caleb, right? And it says it literally means dog-like, right? From Caleb, dog. It says that it means dog-like. Canaan means dog-like or dog. Alright? So when we started, right, hold on. Wait for my pics pop up. There we go. So when we started, we were here, right? Now, I want to know how many people who claim they know what Canaan means or who Canaan is when they call these people out here Canaanites, if these people that they refer to as Canaanites, if they look like this. Because if they don't, you need to check your research. Alright? Because when we're dealing with the meaning, we're dealing with dog-like. Literally dog, right? That's what it says from the word. So, I looked it up. Kaleb, right? In the Hebrew. And it says dog. Literal dog. Contempt or abasement, right? Of pagan sacrifice of male cult prostitute, right? From unused rude means to yelp or else to attack a dog, hence a male prostitute, right? Dog. Right? It also says this, a male prostitute. Something also to keep in mind, but we're focusing on the dog, right? Okay, so when we go back to Canaan, right? I'll give it a little bit. When we go back to Canaan, notice how it had lowland, right? Canaan, lowland. So it's saying here, I'm waiting for this to come back. Oh, here it goes. So Caleb means dog, right? So when we broke down the etymology for Canaan, we got dog. Alright? It's first and foremost. So, breaking down those first 6 scriptures, and we were talking about dogs, right? Let's see if we can get one of these going right. Just trying to lag on this right now. Which one was it? This one? This one, right? And when we were reading earlier from Judges, right? 7:5. So he brought down the people onto the water, and the Most High said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. Alright? So, here we were talking, it was referencing to those who drank with dog-like habits, right? Who drank like a dog. That's what it's saying, right? And we were reading here that they're an ancient race, right? Of dog-headed men. So from the other article we were looking at, it said that the bond between dogs and humans is an ancient and enduring one. An ancient one. Right? So we got ancient in this description, and we have it again right here, except now they're dog-headed men. Alright, so we go over here, and this is just the wiki for the bearded collie, right? And it says the bearded collie's history is a combination of fact and legend. So there it goes, right? Legend is normally considered ancient, right? It says that They're known as English lowland sheepdogs. Lowland, right? Look at this, right? Lowland, right? Sheepdogs. When we were looking at Canaan, it meant lowland, right? Talking about dogs, right? Go back. It says Polish lowland. So it told us here that Canaan meant dog, right? Because of Moses, right? Lowland, Canaan. Everything's matching up so far. But I continued on. I went to dog. I did some etymology on dog, right? It says to track like a dog, see dog now, right? It says a late, rare word. Dog is a rare word, right? Used in at least one Middle English source in reference to a powerful breed of canine. The word forced out Old English hund, right? It says the general Germanic and Indo-European word, see, canine. Canine, right? It's funny because canine sounds a lot like Canaan, right? And when we put in Canaan in the etymology, it broke down to dog, right? Now it's telling us that we need to see canine, right, to get a better breakdown on dog. So I went to canine, and it means pointed tooth, right? From canis of the dog, right? Dog, right? Dog. It's talking about a dog. The pointed tooth of a dog, right? Canine. It says meaning pertaining to a dog or dogs, right? Canine. Alright, so we dug on canine. Oops. So, yeah, from here, it made me think about this scripture. So we're going to dig on some Canaan. Alright, so let's get back into your books. And we're going to read on Canaan. Alright, we're going to start in chapter 10 in the book of Genesis. So we're in Genesis chapter 10, verse 6. Alright, and we're going to read this shortly. And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan. Alright, that's what it says. And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan. Alright, and we're going to scroll down. Once it catches up, we're going to scroll down. Right? Show you guys something else with it. Right? At verse 15. Alright? And we're going to scroll down to verse 15. And we're going to read. And Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivitite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite, and the Arvitite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, and thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, and thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even into Lasha. Alright? So we just read Canaan. Alright? Canaan being the son of Ham, and whose Canaan sons were. Alright? And that was Genesis 10:15, and we started at Genesis 10:6. Okay, we're gonna open up another one, and we're gonna dig a little more on Canaan. All right, and this one's Genesis chapter 9, verse 18. All right, and we're just gonna start it off. And oh, excuse me. All right. So what we have here is and the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham, and Ham is the father of Canaan, right? These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread, right? And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward and covered their nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. All right. It said that Canaan shall be a servant unto his brethren. All right. So I want to elaborate more on. I want to make sure we got it right. Now, remember, I told you to keep in mind, right, that when we were dealing with his name, it meant merchant and traffic, right? So, I want to check more in on that. This ain't the one. Wrong one. Sorry, fam. Hold on. Get y'all right here. Uh-oh. Okay. Get y'all right. Yeah, the laptop acts up every once in a while. We'll stay with it though, right? Alright. Sorry about that, fam. So this is when we were dealing with Canaan. We was dealing with merchant, right? It said merchant and traffic. So merchant is a merchant shopkeeper, right? It's coming from the vulgar Latin, right? It means a buyer, right? It says to trade, traffic, or deal in, right? Meaning fellow chap, right? And it broke down here in one who enjoys fast driving. Okay, so that's even more down the line reference. But we want to deal with a buyer. shopkeeper, right? To trade, traffic, and deal in. Alright? To trade, traffic, and deal in. Okay? Let's check this out. Traffic. Right? It says to buy and sell. And preserving the original commercial sense. Right? It says to buy and to sell. So if you guys remember when we was dealing with Job 1 from the Nephilim, the Neanderthal, the New Man series, right? We were dealing with vile men, right? And the etymology to vile broke down to buy and sell. And what we just read was that traffic means to buy and sell. It also is dealing with a merchant, right? Which is to buy and sell. Traffic, right? So when we're dealing with Canaan, right? When we're dealing with Canaan, we're dealing with merchant and traffic, right? Merchant and traffic. Merchant and traffic, as we just looked at, is dealing with to buy and sell, right? And to buy and sell, right, is to be vile, morally flawed, corrupt, wicked, of no value, of inferior quality, foul, ugly, degrading, humiliating, of low estate, without worldly honor or esteem, low-born, cheap, hideous, ugly, base, common, worthless, cheap, to buy, sell, vile. Alright? That's what we're dealing with right here with traffic. Same thing right here with merchant. Alright? So, we're dealing with Canaan. Alright? Who's also said what? Canaan was said to be what? A dog. Right? Dog-like. And we were dealing with an ancient city, right, of dog-headed men, right? Canaan also meant lowland, right? And this is the lowland sheepdog right here, right? The bearded collie. Show you guys something real quick. Let's get this up. While we wait on that, keep in mind that the lowlands are reference, and of course, to where people live, right? Keep that in mind. This is the one we're going for. All right. Now it said Polish, right? Now we're waiting for this little circle to load up. I know you guys see it. I'm seeing it with you. I'm trying to get it to blow up. The laptop wants to take its time. It knows that I'm on. But yeah, that's a person in a dress, right? What appears to be a woman with a beard, right? I'm trying to blow it up for you guys to see. Let's look at it. She holding, look like two dogs. Look like there's another dog right here, right? I'm waiting for it to blow up. I'm not getting no love with the image right now. If I don't get his act together, I might just have to pull out. Come back to it. It's not really It don't seem to want to blow up in my favor. Is that it? It shrank, right? How I've been only blowing it up this whole time and it decides to shrink. Well, yeah, that's what we was dealing with, fam. See how crazy he wants to get. Anyways, fam, yeah. Bearded woman, right? Bearded woman, so to speak. Okay? So this is what we're dealing with, right? This is what we're dealing with. So, let's see, let's get back to this. Alright? And, we also saw how his name meant servant, right? It said that Canaan was going to be a servant of servants, right? So it says personal or domestic attendant. Now that's key. Personal or domestic attendant. Personal or domestic attendant. Alright, when we were dealing with, I think it's this one, right? It says, our aim is to try and understand the genetic underpinnings of domestication. What is it that has helped to turn the wolf, which is really not interested in humans to start off with, into this extremely sociable creature, which is the dog? Right? Mind you, when we're dealing with the etymology of the dog, they can't tell you where it stems from, right? But it means basically it means to be domestic, right? So serving means to be domestic. It also means serving, waiting, right? To attend, to wait upon. These are all characteristics of a dog. Right? Your dog waits upon you. Your dog looks to attend you. Right? It looks to serve you. Right? These are traits of a dog. Also looked up serve. Right? It says to render habitual obedience. To render habitual obedience. Right? To minister, give aid, to do duty toward, show devotion, to set, right? To set table, serve at table, right? Offer, provide with, right? Be a servant in service, be enslaved, figuratively be devoted, be governed by, comply with, conform, flatter, originally be a slave, right? Related to service, slave. Right? That's what we're talking about. Right? To owe allegiance. To be a slave, to owe allegiance. Right? So when we were reading in the scriptures, right? And we read that, and he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. Alright, so Canaan was to be a servant. Alright. So, yeah, man. I mean, we dealing with the cynocephalus, right? The dog-headed men. So, was these Canaanites dog-headed men? Is that what we're dealing with? And that's what I brought you here for, right? Now, mind you, we were dealing with those dog-like people in the beginning of these scriptures. So, this is another site that I was, happened to come across. And it offered more insight, right? It said the saintly and savage cynocephaly, complex lives of the monster dogs. Right? It says Greek philosopher Diogenes famously noted dogs and philosophers do the greatest good and get the fewest rewards. The inclusion of philosophers seem a little self-serving, but there may be a kernel of truth when it comes to our canine compatriots, right? It says we combine the finest qualities of human philosophers with the relative saintlessness of your average. How well recreate an ancient monstrous race known as cynocephaly, or more colloquially, the dog-headed men. Right? Supposed to highlight. But yeah, this is what we're talking about, right? These dog-headed men, right? And here's another source, if we can get to it, friendly enough. Yeah, it's lagging just a little bit, but we're gonna get to it, guys. Trust me. Alright. Check it out. It's another source, right? It says humanness in the age of discovery. Dog-headed men. Right? It says from early on, travelers reported seeing to as the monstrous races. One of the most unusual being met. In natural history, Pliny the Elder catalogs 40-odd peoples with attributes from cannibalism to excessive hairiness, from those sporting a dog's head to those with no discernible head, just eyes and mouth in their chests. For Pliny, these were simply marvelous part of humankind. Alright? These dog-headed men. So, what we're gonna do, fam, we're gonna hit this mark and we're gonna pick back up right from here. Alright? We don't want it to be too long. So, yeah. I guess you guys get to part 2. So this will be, the breaking point for this point right here, and we'll catch back up. Alright? See y'all soon.